Hi there, I'm Shri and I like to code. One of the projects that I'm working on just now is a little game called Triangle. I've got few videos about it on another channel, which I'll link to in the description. It's built in Zig and Raylib, and it's basically a clone of the old game Asteroids, but with more ARPG elements and also factory building elements. It's super early right now, and I want to go through some of the building process on here. So today, or in this episode, I just want to go through some of the parts that I've already got working, and I'll start by just showing you how it looks right now, which is, as you can see, largely just an Asteroids clone. You can move around and you can shoot and you can destroy asteroids. And the next bit that I've got is these pellets which I've dropped, which are basically iron ore. Obviously at some point I need better graphics. I can pick those up, and picking up materials unlocks some recipes. Let me just pick some more. It's a bit addictive picking these things up. And what's also happened is when you unlock ore, it unlocks the ingot recipe, and it also starts automatically processing it. And when the ingot is added to the inventory, it unlocks the constructor. That's as far as it gets. But what I can show you is this is the crafting menu. And it'll just tell you here that smelting will automatically prioritize the highest tier items. And up here it's showing you how many ore you have and how many ingots you have. And within the build menu, you can queue up some constructors. So I can just add them up in here, or I can remove them. And this one's obviously picked up all the materials that we had before to be able to construct it. And when it finishes construction, it won't finish construction right now because I think the recipe is set like 30 items. It'll show up in here. This is just a test item that I've added in here. And obviously, graphically, it needs a lot of work. This is super early stages, but this is roughly as far as I've gotten with the game. You can also configure the keyboard controls, but that's a separate thing, and I've got a video about that in the other channel. So let me show you some of the code. Let me just see. So we've got, let me just go into main, which is, so we've obviously got Raylib, and one of the other bits that we use is DVUI for the GUI elements. And obviously this is Zig as well. Or maybe not that obvious, but it is Zig. So there are quite a few bits and pieces in here. Let me just see. So maybe I'll just go through a little bit of an overview. Blit is basically all the 2D graphic stuff. So in there we have a bounding box, canvas shape, and vector 2. Raylib also has a vector 2, but I found it a little annoying to work with it because coming from C, it's not namespaced in a nice clean way. So I wanted to namespace it, so I just added everything into here. The shape supports multiple shapes right now because already we've got the triangle, and we've got the triangle fan, which is what is used to show the asteroids. And I think I have circle as well. Oh yeah, we do, because the circle is used to show the material drops right now. The canvas just kind of wraps Raylib a little bit, but it doesn't do anything actually interesting. It just hands off the calls to Raylib. It does do some translating between our types to Raylib's types. Combat, this is just placeholder files and structures right now. There isn't actually anything in here that works except bullet, which is used to destroy the asteroids. There's a bunch of stuff in here which we can go through. as it becomes relevant. Diag is just diagnostics data. There is a debug window that we can display, and then there's some helper stuff in log as well. I'm trying to remember how I can get debug display. I think there is a keystroke for it, but we can go through that another time. Game, this needs a little bit of reorganization, or a few more things need to come in here. So config, this is where we can change the keyboard configuration. So we've got controls which you can override from a TOML file. And for the notifier, this shows the messages, or this is where you can send the messages to, and it gets displayed in the UI. So let me just, you might not have noticed it. So this part, which is showing that something got added to the inventory, and that is just the test item that I added at the start. And when I pick this item up, you'll see it shows up there. So there are two notifiers, or they're really scoped into two different categories. One is for the inventory and one is for crafting, and they show up on either of those sides. When I open the crafting menu, that'll go away. Not sure why I didn't do it the last time. Yeah, each time you open the related menu or screen, that all those notifications get cleared. So that's the notifier. And items, this is going to be quite an important core part of the game and is related to all the crafting. And the item in here is quite interesting. There's a whole bunch of different bits in here, which is due a devlog at some point. I've started on it, but there's a lot to cover. There is also recipe, which is also a part of that, and recipes work with triggers. So when there is a pickup or a craft, it will trigger the unlock of a recipe. And then we've got phys, which is just the physics. We've got a body struct, which does largely just rudimentary physics. The ship is the main ship object, that little triangle. Power, nothing in there yet, that's for later. And factories is where the current smelting and the manufacture of items happen. And the UI, it's really just the panels which you saw. That's in here. There are a few items in here which need to be organized. Asteroid, self-explanatory. The context is just the different bits that we need to pass around, like the notifier and the debug window, and just a couple of other things like input. Game is the overall game struct, holds some of the core game state, holds a ship, for example. Input handles mapping of input to how Raylib expects it. Main, I already showed you, just bootstraps the game and tears it down. Save is just to store the main save components. Save doesn't currently work, but I wanted to put the things that we would want to save in a place that could be easily recognized or easy to group together. Sector is quite interesting. It's related to asteroid, and it defines so actually this is a part of the game in that you go from sector to sector, and the sector has multiple chunks of asteroids as it stands right now, or enemies or bullets and all the other bits that go into it. Sector is arguably the closest we have to a level. It is procedurally generated, but it's effectively a level, and you can go from level to level. And that's about it. One of the things that I want to do is release this, and release in double quotes, into extremely early access. What am I calling it? I'm calling it a sprout, which is kind of like a seedling build. I can't remember if it might be sproutling, which will have just this stuff that I showed you, plus keyboard mapping, which I've already done. I want to have add a rudimentary menu, fix some bits with the UI, show a friendly notice, and just a couple of other bits of information. Also thinking about adding a contact form, and I want to implement an automated build and deploy. I am considering doing some or most or all of these things as videos and sharing it. I will see how I get on. Probably going to be lightly edited. I will go through my process, and if I end up banging my head against a wall for a long time trying to solve a problem, I might cut some of that out. But ultimately, I want to share the journey and you know, how it all kind of comes together, and see how it goes. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else to share. No, I think that's about it. Thank you for joining me in this, watching this video, and I will see you next time.